Okay, so we're finally here. The day, I'm actually right this time, is the day of the joint practice. Dave is coming to us with an amazing press conference. My name is Nick. This is Roll Coverage, home of the press conference breakdown, and probably the reason you clicked on this video. So without further ado, let's jump right over.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
Nope. They roll coverage. What an absolute gift to be able to go against the Jets, see one of my longtime friends, a couple actually, that I worked with in the past, but to just see two groups that are after the same thing, the effort, straining to get the ball, playing great defense, the run game, all of this stuff is just such a great, just a moment for our guys to kind of see them, you know, we go against each other so much, guys start to like really hone in on what each other doing, but to see something different today was fantastic. The energy was electric. It was great. Let's see, injury-wise.
Real quick, if you are familiar with these breakdowns, you know that this man right here doesn't normally talk like that. He seems very, I don't want to say defeated, but it definitely looks hurt. He looks like there's something that's really nagging at him. And we know that these beginning little spiels that he gives out is going to kind of give us a little something. So what is he really mad about?
Let's see, Chandler Zavala, hamstring. So we're concerned about that one. It feels like it could be a little bit of a longer deal. And he was doing fantastic in this camp. Kenny Dyson with the groin. It seemed like it was a pretty good one too there. So those are the biggest concerns. We had a couple of other guys. You saw Robert Hunt kind of, had a little bit of something, happen to him on a play. They checked him out. They tested his knee. Everything was great. He finished practice. So I think it was more of a scare than that. Scared all of us, not just Rob. And then let's see, Chuba. Chuba went down. We had big concerns there. The initial testing looks pretty good, so they're going to follow up. We'll have more information on him there. And then any other questions on any other guys?
What was the testing on Chuba?
On his knee. It was a testing on his knee, just to make sure everything was stable. It was a real-time collision there. It wasn't a dirty hit. It was two guys faced up on each other, and his foot kind of gave out from underneath him. And so the initial testing was very positive, but we're going to do all the follow-up, make sure that he's fully ready to go before we put him back out there.
Can you tell, was the injury a result of the slip or the hit or some combination?
It looked like it was the slip. It looked like the collision, and he kind of missed a foot. And then that's what it looked like live, kind of just in my mind right now. But again, we'll take a look at it. And the initial testing and all that looked really good. So
Dave, it looked like Terrace Marshall.
Okay, so it looks like he's done talking about the injuries. Before we get into Terrace Marshall, we have obviously been bitten 1,000 times by the injury bug. I'm not even playing with you guys. We are in a really tough spot moving forwards, and this team not only needs to play good ball, but they need to be healthy enough to play good ball. So I don't know how Dave is going to be able to really rally these troops. I think this is going to be the year of a lot of backups, the year of a lot of injuries, especially for our team. We haven't been bit with it in a few years, and now it's really, really biting hard. So I am not happy about that. But of course, there's nothing he can do. He doesn't have a magical elixir to help everybody. But this is definitely something we have to watch moving forwards. Injuries have been just constant. So
Had a good day, but then when you see him catch a touchdown pass and kind of throw the ball at somebody, is that something that's a teaching moment?
Absolutely. It's dumb football. We can't have that. Guys fighting, guys getting into, we want to celebrate with each other. We want to make big plays and give the opponent nothing. This is the exact type of stuff that I've been hitting them on, especially going into this practice. And guys, he got excited, and he made a great play on a really good player. Leave it at that. A great football play. How about we celebrate that? So he and I talked about it out there, and we put it behind us. But it's just, these are the moments. It's too hard. Football is too hard. The margins are so tight in this league. You can't afford to give the opponent anything. Not the ball. Not a penalty. Not anything. Not false starts and pre-snap things, aligning offsides. Those are all the things. They're marginally. They just add up and they flip the field, and it makes it even harder. So something we got to continue to work on getting away from.
Okay, so that has been a pain point for a while. I've actually been pointing it out that penalties are going to be a big problem for us. Dave is obviously talking about it. Again, he always focuses in on the things that he is most frustrated with. Normally when he answers questions, again, if you've been here to see these breakdowns, you would know, he normally like kind of looks at everybody. He's like, hey, you know, you might see him look down towards somebody that he's talking to, but he is generally very like eyes on the horizon. When he does responses like this, where he's constantly looking down and he's like false starts, fumbles, like this kind of thing, that's things that he's immediately remembering. So this team has a lot to clean up on top of just getting our offense and our ones and everybody all on the same page. Yeah, they're building the scheme and everything, but we haven't had a ton of opportunities to have everybody out on the field even today. So there's still so much more to discover with this team. And again, I don't think you can give a proper win-loss record until you see week 1, which is when I'll be submitting mine. I'm probably in the realm of about 4 wins, especially given these injuries and all the issues we have. But I could also be wrong and we could be a 7-win team. I'd be happy, over the moon, in fact, but I just see us struggling right now. And hopefully some of these guys that we're going to pick up to kind of get in there to help out in those injured positions are going to be able to meet the task. Because if we end up getting, you know, just a bunch of tossaways, we could end up having some really, really bad days. And that is going to be a tough time to be a fan. And not only that, tough time for the players, the coaching staff, and of course, everybody involved. So
There's been times throughout this camp where offense seemed to kind of get off to a slow start. That was not the case today. Talk about what you saw from them efficiency-wise.
Seeing a new opponent. So we see our defense every day. We've practiced against our defense all spring and all camp, and our defense is doing great. Our scheme alone is really hard. I've gone against it for years. It's really challenging. They force you to try to run the ball. Good luck with that front. And so they really play you into their hands, and it's hard. And the marginal misses from the quarterbacks, there's guys in areas and guys in space. And so to see somebody else, someone to have a fresh start for the offense, to me, it was a response for the offense to say, hey, we know we've had a couple of slow starts. We've had also some fantastic practices going into the New England week. And so you take your lumps, you have your ups and the downs, and you just keep moving forward, keep pounding, some would say, and you just get to the fundamentals. Fix it, show it on tape, try to have just a really objective look at what's happening instead of getting into, bigger things. And so I saw the guys just settle in, execute, play really hard, and it was fantastic.
And the reason why he focuses on that is because that is what Dave Canales is known for. Okay? I would know. I did a 9-part Who is Dave Canales mini-series. Link is always in the description. I think that this guy has such a great potential, but I think our Carolina Panthers might not have the personnel or the ability to really execute some of those things. Now, his focus is to maintain a stout run game. That's what he did in Tampa. That's what he did in Seattle. That's how you open up the passing lanes. That's how you get the deep balls. That's how you make the offense open up. But right now, our offensive line needs to be able to facilitate that run game, especially being the highest paid offensive line in the league. I need to see a great run game. I need to see pass protection. I'm actually going to get into some stats in a completely separate video, going into the in-depth stats of Bryce Young, really where I see the need for improvement. But it starts with the offensive line. It starts with the defensive line. Both places I feel like we're still struggling. Again, due to injury, not Dave's fault, not Bryce's fault, not anybody else's fault, just purely injuries. So I'm a little worried about that.
Bryce yesterday, he had a little bit of an up and down day,
Yeah.
some interceptions, but how did you feel like he bounced back today?
I thought he was sharp yesterday. He had 2 interceptions. One he didn't see shy, and then the other one was, learn the lesson. Don't be late outside. So in general, again, compartmentalize the mistakes and say what was the body of work. So today he came out. He was sharp. He was getting us in and out of the huddle. He's accurate. He just shows like that's Bryce. He loves it. When he gets challenged and the stakes rise, that's him. He just stays the same, and he continues to be accurate. And I love the way he handled today.
And see, that's the thing. when Bryce has a clean pocket, he's behind it, he's able to deliver at an amazing clip. I mean, really, truly amazing clip. But it's when those issues arise, when that pass rusher gets through, when a guy just gets blown up and there's a huge dude running at you, that's when the issues happen. And unfortunately, again, that offensive line being the highest paid needs to be able to mitigate that the majority of the time, to be honest. If it's the highest paid, it needs to mitigate it the majority of the time. I can't do like once in a blue moon. You guys are paid, so you guys need to take care of this. And that's where I feel like it's going to be a big pain point again this season, regardless of the money spent. I love Hunt on one side, but I still feel like Lewis, D-Lew as he calls him, still has some time to grow. But obviously, again, injuries.
One aspect of his passing performance that seems to have gotten better from last year is the fade ball. What's the coaching point on that? Why do you think that's improved?
Simple, up the field to the outside hand and give a guy a chance to make a play. You know, we've had a couple that went off the field, and never in the history of ball was a ball completed out of bounds. And so let's keep it on the track and let our big receivers make plays. We got a bunch of them, a bunch of guys with size, with speed and strong hands. So I was so glad to see that show up today.
Does it just kind of seem like he's very low energy? Like he's, this is how I'm answering the question. This is something we kind of saw last year from Frank Reich, where he slowly powered down as the year went on. This is a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. I'm worried. That's what I am.
What did it say to get Robert Hunt? The fact that he wanted to come back out there.
Yeah, that's the message for the team, right? What can you practice with? What can you play with? Let's do that. Let's push the envelope there. It says something. He sends a message as a veteran guy to say, no, I'm okay. Making sure we're all being really smart about it and say, I'm good. I'm ready to go. Knowing yourself, knowing who you are, getting back out there to take advantage of the work that we're doing.
Again, when he's answering these questions, he's looking straight down. That is not a good sign. It's not the Dave Canales that we have known to come and love. So, man, that face is a tough one to see.
To follow up on that last question, the squares and the corners of the end zone, does that have to do with the fade? What does that have to do with?
Yeah. So we're trying to throw back ball fades, trying to get it to those zones, and really just allows the receivers to have that space and make plays on it. So all those little things that we train, the red line, the boxes, throwing to spots in the red zone, all those things kind of attribute to it. And he's accurate to begin with. So,
Dave, just on some of the.
I'm a little concerned about that because that tells me that Bryce is not able to fit it into the windows that he wants. So he's trying to figure out everything he can to utilize Bryce's ability for accuracy, but also be able to give him the ability to really get it in the places he needs to, back shoulder fade, whatever it may be. So that's obviously something that, my ears started ringing as soon as I heard that.
Dan talked about wanting dogs. I mean, how do you balance the fire that you want to see with the restraint that you need to see on?
Push it to the limit, go all the way to the edge, all the way up, tiptoe and teeter on the edge, and then come back to us. Always come back to us. Celebrate with us. We don't need to disrespect anybody. It's not even about beating the opponent. That's really not what we're out for. We're trying to compete to find our best football, and that's been the message for the group. If it becomes about the other team and you throw a ball there, you say something, it's not even about you anymore. It's not even about you having a great day and growing that way. Now it becomes about you trying to beat the opponents, and if we have to rise ourselves to certain moments, then what happens when you play a team that you're better than? Are we going to just play to their level, or can we just pursue our best? Can we just push ourselves? So again, it's something that we're learning as a whole still.
First team offense.
Any thoughts on who's going to play? Any thoughts on who's going to play on Saturday?
We have to go through today. We have to see how we came out of this practice to just figure out our full numbers to see what we can do in the game. So we'll be telling you guys later in the week, just like last week.
Do you have a sense, Dave, though? Do you have an idea which way you're leaning?
I do. But again, who's available? So that's going to kind of dictate a lot of what we want to do.
Dave, how did you may not have seen all the your defense? I imagine you were over the offense.
Yeah.
But how did you feel the defense played? You saw the last drive by Rodgers.
Yeah.
He did pretty well against you guys.
Yeah. I didn't see much. I saw 7-on-7. We looked pretty good there. And then for the most part, I was just kind of making sure we were getting plays in and out on offense and trying to execute there.
Dave, a lot's been made about Austin moving to the center position.
Yeah.
And while it looks like protection's holding up, there have been some low snaps and stuff like that.
Yep.
What's your evaluation of him so far at the position?
I think he's within the realm of like reasonable for really any center.
What? You know what? I'm just going to let him finish. I'm sorry.
League wide, I've been with a bunch of different centers, and different blocks put a little bit more stress on shotgun snaps, pistol snaps, and things, and that's something that we continue to work through, and it has not been out of the ordinary for like what you would normally see at a center. So I'm really pleased with what Corbs has been doing.
The defense did turn Aaron Rodgers over a couple times, 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
That seems to be in a...
Spoiled the movie. Spoiler alert, I haven't even seen the film yet.
My bad. Well, that would be in the trailer anyway.
All right.
This seems... causing turnovers seems to be an emphasis on the defensive side of the ball this year.
Yeah.
What are the coaching points for that?
Yeah, there's some great stuff. So we, the things that our defensive coaching staff is doing to emphasize attempts on the ball, it's like batting average. The more attempts you have, the more opportunities you're going to get. And so, because it's really small, the percentages are really low to get a fumble punched out. It is. So you just have to have more attempts. You have to have more attempts at the ball than numbers of plays. If we played a 65 play game, your attempts got to be in the hundreds. It's got to be like multiple guys trying to get it out to actually create just 1 or 2. Interceptions come from just guys playing their leverage, having great eyes, and doing their job and coming up with the catch. So huge emphasis. They're doing a great job. They're sick about it. I love it. It's training the offense to really, the last couple of days we've had some interceptions because guys are playing their leverage and guys are following quarterback's intentions, all those things. So it's training both of us, to really be smart about that.
Yeah, and to be honest, the one thing that benefited from last year's staff is that we retained all of this defensive staff, so that actual all-star staff is actually still in place on the defensive side of the ball. So there's a lot of guys, like Evero has said, and if you haven't checked that breakdown, make sure you do. It's just a great one. There's so many people there. All of our position coaches have the ability to be head coaches next year, so I could expect our defense to sieve a lot of people. Again, especially Evero. I think he's head coach next year, or at least interviews for one. So yeah, that defensive side of the ball has so much. Going back to the Corbett thing, I'm not happy that we have Corbett there. I would have much rather we gotten Jackson Powers Johnson in the draft, but the past is the past. If Corbett is really what he thinks he is, and really what Dave is saying he is, then I really hope that it translates on the field in week 1. So hopefully the Saints don't, make us look stupid with our new center. That's all I'm saying.
Diontae out today.
Yeah.
Does that kind of change the way you view Bryce's day, that he was able to have that kind of performance without a guy who's been getting a lot of traffic?
I don't really think of it that way. No, I was just really excited to see the guys that we're evaluating, for this team to see if they can help. So I was so excited to see all those guys, make plays today.
Do you have an update on Diontae?
He's really day to day. So, it was something mild. And again, like for him, it's like, all right, he's been doing this for a while. So he knows his body. He knows when he can work through like normal soreness and all those things. So we'll be smart about that. But
similar situation with Xavier Woods, Xavier Leggett, and also Clowney.
Leggett's just continue to ramp him up, just with, the foot soreness that he was having. Clowney, same thing, we just got to continue to get him a great day of work and then kind of just take care of him for the long haul. He's been in a lot of camps. We want to make sure he's in great shape for the season, and getting the reps, for the learning. And Xavier Woods' groin was a little bit more serious than we thought. So he's a couple of weeks. I can't remember exactly how many, but it was. We were really hoping it was just kind of just some general soreness, but there is a strain in there, so he'll be a couple of weeks.
That is why I have decided that in our first 3 games, my prediction is 1-2. I think that until about week 5, week 6, when we start to get a lot of our guys truly back 100% and everything like that, we could really start to see it. But again, the wear and tear on the guys that we will already have put out on the field could be much higher. Injury is my focus. Besides looking at the actual position battles or the quality of guys that are out there, they need to be able to stay healthy. So I don't know what we need to do to fix that. Hopefully this dude right here can help with that. He actually hasn't been too bad today. Normally I call him out for his vitamin deficiency, which is what I call when he just licks his lips 300 times at a press conference. I'm telling you, dude, I've seen it happen literally 1,000 times. And I haven't even done 100 Dave Canales breakdown videos. So that tells you how many times he does it in a press conference. I think it's just a nervous tick thing, but it comes out more when he's a little frustrated. We're kind of seeing a little bit of that here.
Dane. Dane Jackson.
Yeah, Dane's was a significant hamstring, so we're looking at 6 weeks ish on that.
When you say Bryce was sharp, what's the best example you could think of you saw today of that?
Oh, get to the next progression. Even on the play where Chuba got hurt, it's just like, don't have it, react, bang, right back into the middle field in the rhythm of the play. The rushers were coming, and for him to be able to function in that setting was fantastic.
What can you get out of these joint practices that you can't get out of a preseason game, and then vice versa? What do you need to see in a preseason game that you can't see?
Yeah, I think so. We're able to control the volume that we throw at our guys, and we say, hey, this group needs to be pushed. Then Robert and I say, all right, well, we can let this drive play out, or this is pretty good. Let's cap it here. So you can kind of, you can do like kind of a la carte, practice, if you will, with some of the things. They didn't have a long snapper, so we punted. We weren't kicking our field goals today, so they did. Like, it was being able to take those different parts of specific to where we are at for this day is so huge. And then again, just doing it with teams that have different scheme is so valuable for us because they play a different style of football from a systematic standpoint. So it's good for our eyes to see different things.
Last question.
Thanks. There's been a rise in the number of quarterbacks who have had to start games in the last 3 years.
Yes.
I wonder if you've had conversations with your staff about that and how it might change the way or affect how you're thinking about structuring your quarterback room as a whole.
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think that it behooves all of us to utilize that third quarterback potential, call-up guy. I can't remember the specific term, but basically just when you have someone that you can trust to be available in an emergency situation, like, it's a good deal. So we just have to look at the roster and try to make sure we do that. And, Jack and Jake are showing us, they're going to be able to show us every day, whether they can be that guy, and we'll give them all the opportunities we can to do that. All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Hey, no, thank you, Dave. Thank you for doing this. I'm super excited for the season. Of course, we have that game coming up this weekend, Saturday, I believe 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is against the New York Jets. So it is going to be an interesting one. Of course, we're going to see Jack or Jake out there, like he said. We're not really going to be playing Bryce. We're not going to be playing our starters. This is really the development time, which means week 1, Bryce Young is going to go out there with a new offensive line, new weapons, new everything, and hopefully be able to just turn it on and go out there and win a game. So I'm a little concerned about that. Now, obviously, more teams are doing this. They're focusing more on those joint practices for better reps. I guess they do like 50, 60 reps. They're just full 100%. So that helps out quite a bit. Obviously, we have a lot of guys that are new in the defense as well. But again, that all-star coaching staff in the defensive side of the ball is going to change quite a bit, I hope. Now, injury bug, like I've said a million times in this video and a million times in a bunch of other big videos, are the reason why I'm hesitant on the Carolina Panthers this year. Now, obviously, new additions, upgrades, the whole nine, changes stuff. A new scheme, new head coach, the whole bit changes stuff. But the injuries have really bitten us to the point where I'm genuinely worried about this team just finishing the year. I could even see a scenario where, I hate to say it, but Bryce Young ends up hurt. I hope not. I hope he's able to get another 16 games under his belt, and then going into year 3, we could really hopefully see that huge jump. But again, it's going to help with the establishment of the run game, the health of the offense and defensive lines, and the ability for him to just get a clean pocket to deliver the ball. Now, Dave Canales obviously didn't give us too much, but again, I'm kind of reading that whole sadness, the looking down and everything like that. He's not the same happy guy full of just joy. He seems upset. He seems like there's something bothering him, whether or not it's off the field or on the field. There's something there. Now, obviously, we're going to continue to break these down as we move forwards. This is a fresh one, just came out yesterday. You're getting it in the morning, so make sure you enjoy this on your ride to work or to school. My name is Nick, host of Roll Coverage, the home of the press conference breakdown, and especially a follower of Dave Canales. So make sure you subscribe right here in one place at Roll Coverage. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.